Hi everyone, I'm Lauren and welcome back to my channel. This is Light in Lavender, where we talk about all things books and my own writing journey, and today I'm going through my top 5 couples in books. As today is Valentine's Day, I thought I would go through the top 5 couples that I have from the books that I've read throughout my life. Some of these are older books, I think there's maybe one newer book, but I just wanted to go through the characters that I really loved and to just talk about them a little bit. And these are in no particular order. The first couple that I have put down on my list is Jimmy the Hand and Jemima from the Rooftop Cycle by Raymond Feist. Wouldn't be a list if I didn't mention this series, but Jimmy the Hand is my absolute favourite character from the series. He was my first book crush, and his relationship with Jemima was just so sweet. I think it's pronounced Jemima, it might be Jemima. It's definitely a G that is spelled with. Their story is told over a few books within this 30-book series, and it goes over the course of their entire life, and it was one of the best relationships that I've ever read. I loved the way that the characters loved each other unconditionally. They made my heart hurt, they made me want to cry, and I'm so glad that I've been able to read this book with these characters because they were just so wonderfully put together. They both complemented each other really well within the book, and I think that the way their relationship was written was wonderfully done. There was nothing done with the relationship as sort of a shock factor. It was all just a wonderful relationship, and I urge everyone to read this entire series if only for this couple. The second couple that I've chosen is Giovanni and Beatrice from the Elemental Mystery series by Elizabeth Hunter. This is a set of books that I read a couple of years ago. The first book I actually bought sometime in 2012-2013, but didn't read it until 2019 when I had taken my Kindle on holiday and I couldn't actually download anything new because I'd missed an update and I needed to download it from the computer. So I just went through my Kindle and started picking books to read, and the first book in this series, which I can't remember the name of but I'll leave a picture here, was one of the books that got me back into reading and like broke my couple of years reading slump and really got me back into it, and I read the entire 4 series in a couple of months because I then had to buy the books and I was trying to resist the urge to buy the books. But these are the 2 main characters within this series and their relationship is so cute. There is a little bit of an issue as this book focuses on vampires, and Giovanni is a vampire who is 500 years old, and I think Beatrice, when he meets her, is 20? She's not that old, she's around 19 to 21. And he recognises that there's an issue with this age gap, and that does actually lead to some conflicts throughout the rest of the series, but I really enjoy it. I think that their relationship, again, is just so pure. They work well for each other. They are created as sort of opposites who make each other whole by balancing each other out in the sense of one's really headstrong and the one is not, and I really love them. It's such a great series. The first book is free on Kindle, but the rest of the books you have to buy, which is why I got the first book and then was unable to continue the series, but I just loved it so much. I needed to know how the entire series concluded, and it's a vampire book and I absolutely love vampires, and it was a vampire romance book, which was just even better. It kind of made me want to write paranormal romance, and this is the problem. When I read a really good book, I just want to kind of emulate it a lot, and the 2 characters were just so wonderful, and I thought the entire plot to this 4-book series worked really well. They're all based on elemental magic, and each book focuses on a specific element, and I would really recommend the entire series. The third couple that I want to give a shout out to is Lyra and Elian from Tequila Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I read this last year and I absolutely love the book, and I also really love these characters. I loved them separately and also together. I think what worked really well is that they were both kind of headstrong characters, and they were stubborn and determined in their own way, and I think they recognised those qualities in each other, which is what caused them to have their relationship. I think they also were trying to protect people in their own way, and again that was something that they both recognised and were able to use that to kind of bridge the gap between them. Without going into too many spoilers, they are from completely separate worlds, and the fact that they were able to overcome any issues and boundaries that they were having because of this, just all the warm fuzzy feelings, okay? I'm a sucker for a happily ever after, and I'm a sucker for a good romance story. Even if the book's not romance, I do love a good romance. My fourth couple is Emma and George Knightley from Jane Austen's Emma. This is probably a bit of a curveball. It's a very old book, and also there might be a lot of issues with the characters themselves. George Knightley is 17 years older than Emma, and I think in this book Emma is 17 to 18. I can't remember, I've not read it for a while, but I can remember that I really love these characters. I thought they worked well together. There's been a lot of adaptations and retellings of this story throughout time. One version is Clueless, the film, which is a very loose retelling of Emma, and actually it fits really well. I really enjoy the way that Emma and Mr. Knightley respond to each other, so they have more of a friendship style relationship to start off with. They're really comfortable with each other, and it's only when there's the potential that Emma can't see him again that she realises that actually her feelings are more, and I'm guessing on his side as well, because otherwise they wouldn't actually be a couple. I really love the way that the relationship plays out with this. I think it shows a sort of a natural progression with the relationship, and although there is the issue with the age difference, because 17 years is a long time, I think the way that it's done within this book is minimising any issues with it, and it shows that the two characters are fully on board. There's no sort of imbalance in power with the two characters, and for that they're one of my top 5 couples. And the last couple that I've chosen is Joanna and Llewellyn the Great from Here Be Dragons by Sharon Penman. So these are two real people, and Sharon Penman's characterisation of them has made me just love them so much. So one of the reasons why I studied in North Wales as part of my degree, because the entire book focuses on that area of Wales, and Joanna has actually been buried in the church of Beaumaris, which was opposite from where I studied in Bangor, and oh, it's so cute. What I love about Sharon Penman's way of writing is that she is very, very, very historically accurate. She has done so much research into the history of the books, and her creative license is more from the characterization than anything else, and the way that she wove Joanna and Llewellyn into the people that they were had me heartbroken when I remembered that these people were real, and this was like 900 years ago and they are actually dead. And I love the way that the characters were given their own life and how they were able to overcome issues. I don't want to go into too many spoilers in case you want to read it, but also that era of history isn't spoken about much. It's so beautifully done. I love the way that it describes the Welsh style of relationships and Wales's view towards Christianity at the time as well, and how that differed from what Joanna's upbringing was as an English woman and also as the illegitimate daughter to King John. But again, there were another couple that were just so beautifully put together, and the fact that these were real people and some of the issues within their marriage were actually real events and they were able to overcome some of it, I think it showed just how deep they loved each other. And the way that Joanna was dealt with when she died by Llewellyn, I just loved that aspect of the relationship, because it showed just how deep their feelings went for each other and how much respect they had for each other, even though there were a lot of really crappy things that happened. But yeah, because it's not fully fiction, I think that's why I love it even more, because it kind of showed that even with the way that the world was back then, that these two people had a lot of love for each other and they were able to overcome some difficult issues within their lifetime. Absolute favourites, just absolute favourites. So those are the top 5 couples that I have from all the books that I've read in my life. I actually struggled to find these, because sometimes I read a book and I don't like the romance in it and I don't like the way that the book took a turn. I also tried to stay away from sort of contemporary books because I didn't want it to be a couple that was fully the point of the story. I wanted it to kind of have a little bit of a different element. I know Tequila Kingdom is pretty much a romance style book anyway, but I wanted it to have a greater focus, and then the romance was a part of the story rather than the romance being the story. Let me know in the comments down below which couples you've loved throughout books that you've read and which ones have made you just feel all warm and fuzzy inside. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, and if you want to see more of my videos, don't forget to hit subscribe. There's a new video out every single week. I hope you're all well and you're all staying safe, and until next time, bye!